nice in here. We got a cool morning this morning. We had some snow here last week, and right now it's hovering around 5 degrees Celsius. So it's a little brisk. This is the time of year where the warmer riding gear comes in handy. Anyway, today's ride is about a cool piece of equipment I received from the folks at HaloCam. And they sent me over one of their camera systems for me to have a look at, see what I thought of, and if I liked it, to do a review on. So it actually seems like a pretty cool rig. I wasn't sure on its practicality for me as a moto vlogger when I first received it, but what a fantastic piece of equipment for a commuter or just an everyday rider. Think of it like a dash cam for your truck. And it's actually even slightly better than that because it gives you a view at the back too. Seems to be packaged very nicely. We've got the booklet, instructional booklet, a screen that takes a micro SD card, 2 cameras, and a remote. Lots of cabling to attach the cameras, wiring harness for power, GPS, which we'll get into a little bit later, camera mounting system. Those are magnetic camera mounts, and 2 GoPro looking type mounts. Also comes with Velcro and heat shrink for covering all the connections. Now the way it works is you mount one camera on the front of your bike. Now, the front camera on a KLR could be tricky. I think the place that's likely the most solid is the headlight. So what I may end up doing is mounting it right here in the corner of the low beam side of the headlight. Next camera, and this is the green. I'm going to heat shrink these 2 ends together. However, there we go. You mount one camera on the rear of the bike. Wipe with alcohol to make sure it's clean. The rear camera is the black camera. Well, it doesn't get much simpler than that, I'll tell you. Okay. Well, that feels pretty secure. And then the wires run up to a unit that does have a screen on it, but isn't waterproof. And that's the crux of the situation. So that unit needs to be protected. So I have it in my tank bag. And then it wires either directly to the battery, or you can hardwire it into your motorcycle switch so that it comes on and off with the key. Or you could do what I've done and plug it in via USB in my tank bag. So when I plug my tank bag in, it starts recording. When I unplug my tank bag, it stops recording. So if I'm somewhere where I want to leave it on, like I go into a restaurant or something like that, and I want the cameras recording what's going on around the bike, I just leave my tank bag plugged in. Otherwise, when I stop, I unplug my tank bag and the camera shuts off. But I don't have to constantly be turning this system on or off. It's just always recording, and it records in a loop. There's multiple settings. You can do 1 minute up to 5 minute loops. And when your card's full, it just starts recording over the front. And if something happens that you want to save, there's a handy remote on the unit that comes up to the front of the bike. You push that button, and it saves, I think it's 5 minutes before and 10 minutes after or something. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is the quality of the video. It's 1080p at 30 frames a second, 2 cameras recorded simultaneously. And that's what we're checking out today. So because of the mounting on the bike, I wasn't sure how it was going to handle the vibrations of the big single on the KLR 650. So this is a good test for it here. This is some off-road. I mean, this isn't where you need a dash cam by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, you might as well put it through its paces, right? Alright, well that's the end of the off-road stuff. So as we're looking at some of the footage from this system, let's talk about who this might be for. And at first, like I said, I thought it was just for commuters, people who are in heavy traffic. Gives you the ability that if anything happens, you can always go back to the footage and say, look at this is what happened. Especially if you're stopped at a set of lights, somebody comes up real close, you do have it all on camera with that rear camera. The remote for the unit, which is down here, that flashes when it's recording and also has the button on it for saving and protecting segments of the footage, also has a microphone in it, which isn't any good at speed. You're not going to use this as a vlogging system. But when you're stopped at the scene of an accident, as long as that's recording, it's recording the ambient audio from around the area, which I think is actually a pretty good idea. The other thing it has is it has a GPS dongle here that apparently records your position to the footage. I haven't seen that yet, and I don't really care about that either. I mean, I have GPSs and I know where I am when something's being recorded, but who knows, maybe it's handy for someone, maybe there's a use for that. Like I was saying, who is this for? I'm starting to think that maybe it does have an application for me too. Not only am I protected when I'm not recording, but as a vlogger, I mean, we only record where we look. We can't see anything coming up behind us very well, and we see it in the mirror, but the camera doesn't capture it. So it's peace of mind for me as a vlogger. So like I said, this is some overlay of some of the footage. I did a ride through town. I'll put that in here. So you guys can get an idea of what it's like at low speed. The off-road section you've already seen. I think considering what it is and how it's mounted directly to the bike, without the stabilization that the Sony cameras have, I think it did pretty good. Especially in town. I think it works great for that scenario. The downsides of the unit would be the fact that the head isn't waterproof, that it has to be protected. I don't need more stuff bolted to my dash anyway, so that to me honestly isn't a big concern. But it would be nice knowing that no matter where you put it, you didn't have to worry about it. I can also see how that's very difficult to do though. So I do get it. It's nice that the cameras are waterproof. You don't have to take them on and off. As long as you're protecting the main unit, you're good. Other than that, for downsides, I can't really think of any. I guess because it's a dash cam, I don't really have any issues with it. If I was trying to use the footage of it for YouTube or for vlogging, it would be nice if it was 1080p, 60 frames a second. But I mean, 30 frames a second is fine too, and it gives you more space on your card, so it's less overlap. You actually come home with more footage on it than you would if you were running 60 frames a second, especially considering it's recording two cameras at once. So that to me is not a big downside. Other than that, I don't have any. The installation was slick. Really went in well. The mounts worked really well. They seemed to be very solid. The wiring was lots long enough and quite simple to do. I had a couple questions about the type of card and about the permanent recording cycle, and when I contacted them, they were very fast with the response. The company seems good. It's got great reviews on Amazon. So I can honestly say I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, they did send me the product for free. They haven't paid me for any of this, but I do get to keep the unit when I'm done. So make of that what you will. I don't think it swayed my judgment in any way. I do know there's other ones out on the market. If anyone has anything to input on pros and cons or how this compares to something else, if you have that knowledge, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below if you think it's something that's useful, or if you think it's just another piece of gear on your motorcycle that you actually don't need. Interested to hear what you guys think of this. I'm leaving it on. I like it. I do like it. I'm not giving it to old Mason. I may get him one for Christmas, but I'm going to leave it on. I like it. And on that note, I leave you alone. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was useful to you if you're thinking about purchasing one of these. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now. Mind how you go. Mason out. If you liked that video, hit the thumbs up button for us. It goes a long way towards helping out the channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button in the upper corner for new videos every Sunday. Be glad to have you along for the ride.